welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be the cash envelope stuffing and sinking fund stuffing for the paycheck my husband received on June 30th. It's paycheck number 5, so the very last paycheck in June. Next week we'll be moving into July budgeting. I'm always excited for a new month, but before we get into a new month, let's wrap this one up. So I have in front of me my cash envelope breakdown worksheet. This is from the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom, which I absolutely love. I filled this out with you guys on camera in my June week 5 budget. I will link that for you if you missed it. We went through and talked about my budget for the week, and then we broke down how much cash we were going to need using this handy worksheet. And so I was able to get all the numbers I needed. I went to the bank, I grabbed the cash, and now we're gonna stuff the envelopes. Before I get started though, last week when I did my budget for paycheck number 4 and I did my cash breakdown, I had forgotten to pull out $25 for my pets envelope. So when I did the budget this week, here in the bottom, I wrote myself a little note and said, hey, don't forget, you need to pull that extra $25 for pets. And that changed my totals. So the total that I showed you guys in the paycheck number 5 budget breakdown was for $310. I added $25 to that and ended up taking a total of $335 out of the bank. And that is what I have here to work with. So I've got my cash, I've got my cash envelopes, I've got my sinking funds. Let's get started with the envelope stuffing. This is my favorite part of budgeting. I don't know why, I find it fun. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to put my planner off to the side so that I can reference it, and we're just going to jump right in. So the very first thing I have on my cash envelope breakdown is my husband's spending money. Last week when I did my breakdown, I pulled out money for my husband, and it had turned out that he had already pulled out money. So I was trying to pay him twice, and my numbers weren't adding up, and I was totally confused. So this week, the first thing I did when he handed me the envelope from the bank was say, did you take out your spending money? He has not. So we're going to go ahead and pull out his spending money first. He gets $40 a week. I personally don't take my spending money in cash. I like to just use my debit card. But for him, it's easier to pull it out in cash, so we do. So this $40 is going to go off to the side, and this will just go right into his wallet, and he can spend it throughout the week any way he wants. I don't really know what he spends his money on. I don't ask. It doesn't matter. He gets the $40. He spends it as he sees fit. All right, so that takes care of my husband's spending money. Next we have gas. I've been taking out our gas money in cash for the last couple of weeks, and that's been working out really well. I'll admit, it is a pain to go into the gas station and pay before we can pump our gas. It would be much easier to swipe our debit card. However, whenever we buy gas, we fill our tanks, whatever change that we have left over, we don't just put back into the bank to use for another week. We actually set that aside, and it goes into an envelope in our sinking funds that is for gas. Because there's times, especially in the summertime when we're driving a lot, this summer so far hasn't been a good representation because of coronavirus, but typically in summer we drive a ton, and we drive a gas guzzling vehicle, so we like to budget $50 a week all year round, but then in the wintertime when we're not driving as much, we don't use as much. But in the summertime, when we're driving back and forth to our camper, or we're going to the lake, or whatever it is, we use more gas. So we like to keep the extra gas on the weeks when we don't need quite as much, and then we have it when we do need it. That was a very long-winded explanation. Hopefully you get it. But anyways, when we have the change, it's just so much easier to put the change right into our gas sinking fund. And not have to worry about going to the bank and pulling out the difference and blah, blah, blah. So, short story, very long. we've been pulling our gas money in cash and it's been working out great. So I don't actually have a gas envelope, however, because it's just been a recent occurrence that we've been taking our gas money in cash, and I just still haven't had an opportunity to make a cash envelope. But when we made the switch to taking out our gas money in cash, we also made the switch from taking our miscellaneous money in cash and leaving it in the bank. So we just kind of flip-flopped them. So I've been using my miscellaneous money for gas. We're gonna put $50 in my gas envelope today. I should have just said that and not gone on this whole winding, long explanation that you guys don't care about. Next up is eating out. I do have an eating out envelope here. I made these envelopes myself, by the way, just using old Happy Planner dividing pages and my at-home laminator. I wrote out the labels by hand. Nothing fancy. It gets the job done. And we're going to do $50 for eating out this week. It's been working out really well having our eating out money in cash. We don't tend to go over budget quite as much when our eating out money is in cash, so that's good. And my last envelope here is spending, but I'm not filling this because I've been taking my spending money. I have not been taking my spending money in cash. I've just been leaving it in the bank. So that's it for these envelopes, and now we're going to move on to our sinking funds. Okay, so if this is your first time watching my video, you aren't familiar with this handy little device. This is an accordion folder that I purchased from Amazon, and this is what I keep all of our sinking funds in. We have a ton of different categories of sinking fund, and I find it easiest just to keep them all in this one system. I know you can do cash envelopes just like these, but you can do them for your sinking funds. I know lots of people do that. Other people just have multiple bank accounts. This is how I choose to do it because we have a lot of accounts and it's just easier to keep track of everything this way. So each of my sinking funds gets a tab, and behind the tab I keep the cash as well as a little index card to keep track of the spending going in and out of each fund. So the first sinking fund we are going to work on today is our campground sinking fund. We add money to this every single week. So this fund is for our annual campsite. We pay an annual fee for it every single year, and we just save up a little bit every week to make sure that that bill is taken care of come October. We don't have to swipe a card for it. So we currently had $400 in this account. We're going to add 50 more today, and that's going to bring it up to $500. So I'm going to put my $50 bill in here, and we're going to count this out. 150, 250, 350, 20, 70, 90, 410, 430, 450. So that is accurate. I always like to count out my sinking funds. That way I know that my numbers are accurate. I make plenty of mistakes. My math's not always right. And if I count the money out every week, then I'm less likely to leave a mistake, if you know what I mean. Alright, next up we have car tags and maintenance. So this fund is just what it says. It's for car tags and maintenance. We have to renew our car tags every year in January, so some of this money will go for that. And the rest is just to have on hand should we need it for oil changes, windshield wipers, you know, if we need new spark plugs, if the brake pads need to be replaced, whatever it is. So we had $434 in there. We're going to add 25 today. That should mean we have $459 in there. So I'm going to add the 25, 20, and a 5, and we'll go ahead and count this up and make sure that that's what we have here. So we have 100, 200, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 400, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. Perfect. And that will just go right back behind my card tags tab. Next up is Christmas. I keep my Christmas fund in this envelope from the Budget Mom. I'm actually going to need to print a new one soon because I'm almost out of lines here, which is good. We have been regularly adding to this fund since right after Christmas last year, actually right before Christmas last year. We hit our savings goal for Christmas 2019 back in November 2019, and immediately in December of 2019 started saving for Christmas 2020. So we're gonna add $25 today. We had $630 in there, so now we will have $655. So we're gonna add a 20 and a 5. And let's go ahead and count this up. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 20, 40, 60, 80, 600, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. 655, just as anticipated. Perfect. So this will go back behind the Christmas tab. And you guys might be wondering, you have all of this cash in this accordion folder, what do you do with it? We have a safe here at my house, like a combination safe, and we just keep it in there. That way it's protected, it's fire safe, we don't have to worry about it coming up missing, that sort of thing. Alright, next we have my vacation envelope. We're going to be going camping soon. I'm very excited about that. So we are going to be using this fund quite a bit. My little card is pretty full, so going into the back of my accordion folder here, I just keep extra index cards back here just for this occasion. And we're just going to start a new one. So vacation, I just label it at the top. I put in the last amount, which was 240, and then we'll just start adding to it today. So today we are adding $50, and that should mean that we have $290 in our vacation fund after this. So we're going to add a 50. And we'll just continue to count it up. So 50, 100, 50, 70, 90, 210, 230, 250, 270, 290. Perfect. Alright, that's going to go back behind the vacation tab. Next up is Savopoly. So Savopoly is a printable savings challenge that I found on memotherandI.com. I add a little bit of money to this savings every single week based on the property that I land on that printable. Each property correlates with an amount saved. This week I landed on a property worth $20. So we're going to add $20 to this fund today. It's currently sitting at 201, so we're going to add 20, and that'll make it 221. And this savings account, or sinking fund, whatever you want to call it, is just for extra savings. I don't have a specific goal in mind in terms of an amount. I don't have a specific something that I'm saving money for. It's just a kind of extra savings. So let's count it out. 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 180, 190, 95, 200, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. $221 in Savopoly. And lastly, I have this $25 here, and this is for my pets envelope. This was supposed to go in last week, and when I was writing out my categories, I just missed it. Actually, I didn't miss it. I put pets in last week, but I didn't put Christmas in, and at that time, it was more important to me to add the cash to my Christmas fund than it was for pets, so I just did a switcheroo. I put the $25 that I had set aside for pets last week into Christmas, and then just made a note for myself to pull out this $25 this week to put into pets. So, my pets category currently has $60 in it. This is for vet visits, anything that comes up with my cats. This isn't cat litter, it's not cat food. That comes out of our typical monthly budget and our household budget and our grocery budget. But this is just extra in case my kitty cats need vaccines or if something happens and we need to take them to the vet. So it currently has $60 in it. We're adding $25 today, so that should mean that our fund has $85. Let's see, 20, 40, 60, 85. Perfect. So that is the last of the funds that are getting added to today. I have a lot of other funds here that I haven't been adding to regularly. We're focusing on just a handful of our sinking funds right now. The ones that are either the most important or that are coming due the soonest. And then we'll slowly transition to adding to some of these other funds later on in the year. So that is definitely not all of my sinking funds. You can see here I have a ton of sinking funds, a ton of categories, and we're just focusing on a core like 8, I guess, every week. And not even every week, just right now throughout the month we add a little bit to each fund. Alright, you guys, so that is it for my cash envelope stuffing video for this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. I just love working with cash. I love putting money into my sinking funds and saving for the future. That is great. I love doing that. So these are my favorite videos to film. I hope that you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed filming. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up. If you like budgeting videos, I post 3 budgeting videos a week. So if you are into that, definitely click the subscribe button. I would love to have you back. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.